I am Michelle Mazelleغ. Welcome back to my channel. So you may or may not have heard or seen that Tyla, the South African artist, the one who has become famous for her hit song Water. It is a song that was all over TikTok, mostly due to the dance moves that came with the song, has now found herself in hot water due to how she is identifying herself as. So she did an interview, I believe, for Complex magazine, I think, and she identified herself as colored, and Americans went crazy, particularly African Americans, who went on to say that colored is a racial slur. How could she identify as colored? Yada 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 yada, and the debate has been going on since then. All right, so let us watch the video clip, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to talk about it.
Do y'all want me to call her a whole American slur? You want me and my southern behind to be calling her a whole slur? Let me get into this. And I know the cognitive dissonance about to be crazy for some of y'all, but this is insane. And I cannot believe that we're here in 2023. So this is singer Tyla. She has a song Water. She's from South Africa, and I believe she's mixed race. And I don't know all the races she's been mixed with, but it's like a lot of European, and then like it seems like some of the Caribbean islands, as well as maybe some South Asian. And recently people have been saying that she's black, and apparently the South Africans are up in arms about it, calling her colored. And it's jarring for me and my people, because what the hell you mean by that? I am from the South. I'm from Texas. My daddy from Georgia. My mama from Mississippi. So that is, again, a racial slur from where I hail from. And I want to be quick to say too, I'm not trying to ignore the fact that she identifies as a mixed person. I get that. I completely understand. I have no problem calling her mixed. I have no problem making sure to identify her as such. But at the same time, as an American from the South, like hell, I'm gonna call her that. And why the hell am I gonna listen to some people who had an apartheid say, I get it, America has their own issues too, but let's not forget. Why am I gonna listen to y'all tell me that I have to call her that? Again, it's a slur where I'm from.
Okay, that's just part one of that video. That's the first half. So let me talk about that first, and then we're going to finish the rest of the video. So let me say, first of all, I'm also from the South, so I'm very familiar with the word colored. So let me go ahead and put that out there. So for those who might not know about the word colored, and that's colored spelled C-O-L-O-R-E-D. Colored was a word that was used to identify black people, particularly during the era of the Jim Crow era. That whole era, civil rights, all that era down in there. We were first called Negro, and then it went on to us being called colored. Now, when she says that she's from the South, as if it was just an identification that they gave black people in the South, it's definitely not true. It was an identification that was given to all black people in the US of A. You were colored. Then from colored, we became black people. And then in the early 1980s, Jesse Jackson coined the term African American. She needs to understand the variety and differences of identity in the black community, period. And if you go to these black people and you call them by the wrong identity, they will set you straight. No, I don't want to be called African American because I have no connection to Africa. I don't have any connection to the African people. I don't know anything about Africa. I mean, they will go on and on and on for the reason why they don't want to have that identification, and they don't want to be called that. So if we already have those different terms within the black community, that people don't want to be identified as a certain type of identification, what in the world is wrong with this young lady who is from South Africa, mind you? She is not from America. She's from South Africa, coming to tell you that her identification, according to South Africa, is colored. Colored spelled with a U, as in the South African terminology or South African word, and the reason why it's spelled with a U because of it being British English. Remember that British spelling is different from American English spelling, so that's the reason why there's even a U attached to it. Has a different definition. So for people to take that definition and just make it into a word that it ain't, it's crazy to me. You can't do that. We don't even do that in the English language. We can't take a word just because it sounds the same. We can't just take it and make it mean the same thing unless it is. And in this case, that word colored, C-O-L-O-U-R-E-D, is not the same word that the American South black people heard or gets offended by, that was used during this time that black people were getting mistreated and, you know, segregation during that time. It is not the same word. So stop creating something where there doesn't need to be one. All right, let's continue on with this video, because she has more to say, y'all. She has more to say.
What? And I didn't understand what was going on with my like a couple months ago when she was like, we're gonna be here in like 2 to 3 months and everyone's gonna be up in arms. God damn, she was right. If she had $1 for every time she was right, she'd be a millionaire. She'd be competing with Jeff Bezos almost by now. And it's not about the erasure of her identity. It is literally about the fact that where she is trying to break into the market now, it is considered a racial slur. There are just certain words that you just don't say. And again, people will call her mixed race if she asks. And I think that her team should really get on their Zoom. They should get on their TikTok live. They should really get on here and explain such, because I feel like I have seen interviews of her kind of lightly touching it, because I understand it being a dicey subject, but that is going to open up a catechism of worse, like unneedably worse situations than what's happening right now. But no way, there's no way I'm gonna sit up here and fix my face to use a literal racial slur. I will kindly respect her identity, especially since it's already been put into ether. That's how she wants to identify. And also, side note, like, people acting like calling her black is a bad thing. Why? Quickly. And also tell me where you were January 6th. Because none of this is inherently bad. Again, if she identifies as a mixed person, completely understand that. But again, she breaking into a new market, which is the US, asking people to call her, and I'm not even gonna say it's her, I'm gonna say it's her fans, asking her to be called that is a problem. That's not okay, because one of her little white fans is going to say that, and they're going to get out of like a scholarship, going to school, getting the job, all because she didn't come forward, or her team. And it's unfortunate that they have to do that in a way, but to make sure to kind of set this groundwork on an international stage, because she's turning into an international star, congratulations, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem if, again, you're using a racial slur. I don't care if there's a U in it. It's a racial slur still. So y'all,
the first thing that she says is that, you know, Tyla going into, you know, getting into the market, which is basically meaning that she is crossing over to mainstream. And I think that that's something that nobody's talking about, that the artists from these countries in Africa, when they are trying to go mainstream, or when they go mainstream, a lot of times they have to end up changing the music or changing something in order for them to be more appealing to the American ear. So what Americans are saying now to Tyla, particularly African Americans, they're telling her, sorry, you cannot identify yourself as colored here, because you know, it's a racial slur in this, you know, in the United States. So you have to identify yourself the way we identify people that look like you, mixed race. She keeps saying that she does not want to erase her identity, that she's not trying to erase Tyla's identity, but that's exactly what you're doing. If you don't allow her, or don't even, you know, that she's not allowed to identify herself as the ethnic group that she's a part of, then you're erasing her identity. It's as simple as that. You can't say that you're not trying to erase it, but then say, well, you know what? We don't want you calling, you know, we're not going to call you colored, but we're going to call you mixed race. That's not what it's called in South Africa. So she's going to have to erase her identity in order to appeal to American ears. The same Americans that was sitting over there all over TikTok, bouncing and gyrating and all that stuff to her songs about a month or so ago, And then nobody cared that she was identifying then as colored. She just came out and said it, but she ain't been identifying herself as nothing else but colored. And that didn't stop y'all from getting all on TikTok. Now she said it with her mouth now. It ain't never changed. It's just that it's just been vocally said. And now all of a sudden y'all got a problem? And some black people are funny, because I don't think that black people realize, or some black people realize, that black, as far as that word goes, is uniquely US. It is actually a part of the ethnic group in the United States of America. In the United States of America, we have different ethnic groups, black being one of them. But when you go to these other countries, black is not an ethnic group in these other countries. They have their own ethnic groups. All right. When you go to Ghana, this is the ethnic groups in Ghana. Black is not in there. Now let me pull up the ethnic group in South Africa. This is the ethnic groups in South Africa. Can you see the first ethnic group that's there? Black is not in there. So black is an ethnic group in the United States of America. That's it. So black people be mad when they got people coming from these African countries, when they got people coming from the Caribbeans who comes up in there saying, I'm not black. Well, according to ethnicity, according to ethnic groups, they are not black. Not in the sense of the way we're looking at it. And as black people, we cannot sit around here and do people the way we don't want to be treated. Which means you can't put your ideologies, you can't put your standards of things, you can't put your way of living on somebody else. Because when you go to these other countries, you don't expect to change. You don't want to change. You're American wherever you go. And you want people to understand that. But you don't seem to understand there's people coming from other countries to America doesn't mean that they have to, change who they are, erase who they are, deny who they are in order to stay in the United States of America. Really? When you go to the United States of America, yeah, everybody else is going to look at you as black, skin color wise, not ethnic wise, skin color, not ethnicity, but skin color. Yes, the society is going to look at them as black as far as skin color. They're not going to care that they are coming from Nigeria, or they're coming from Ghana, or they're coming from any other type of country, South Africa, or any of these other countries. No, American society isn't going to care about that. However, that doesn't take away the fact of what they are and what they identify themselves as. So that's what's important. As African Americans, we need to give them that room to have their own identification. We have ours that a lot of you all take very strong pride in. Foundational Black Americans, American descendants of slavery, African American, we take very strong pride in our identification. And then you don't want nobody else to take pride in theirs. You want to take away somebody else's pride in their identities. What? Explain that to me. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. The last thing that she says that I want to pinpoint, and I talked about that earlier, is that the last thing she said is that she doesn't care that it's spelled with the U. It doesn't matter that it's spelled with the U. Even if it wasn't spelled with the U, even if it was spelled the same way as the word that we know, the word that she knows, it still doesn't change the definition. And I think that's what people need to realize. It's not the word that we're looking at, it's the definition of the word. And it's funny that in the black community, we have taken a word and have redefined the definition. I don't think I need to say what that word is. A word that was definitely racial, derogatory. We've taken that word and we have literally redefined it into something different. And we want everybody else to understand within the black community, that's what this means. It doesn't mean what it was before. It means something different. And people are able to just understand it and keep it moving. But when somebody's telling you from a country in Africa that they identify a way that they identify, and you have the nerve to tell them that they can't do that, you are doing the exact same thing that you don't want the majority people in the U.S. doing to black people. You need to remember that. because sometimes you get lost in this social media stuff. You just want to go out there and you want to do your little rant. You haven't done any research. You haven't really thought about what you're saying. You're not thinking about how you're literally erasing a whole group of people, a whole ethnic group that you don't understand. And I think that's also important. It's the communication piece. The communication is missing. You know, everybody just want to go out there and put something out there without doing no homework, just for some views. And it's just like, at least know what you're talking about before you talk about it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this young lady identifying with an ethnic group that she has always been a part of in South Africa, and she put her music out in the United States of America, and she opened herself up, and this is what happens. This is what happens to those people who decide they want to go mainstream. They need to think about that when they are opening themselves up in the United States of America, because a lot of people in the US, they don't like change. They don't like somebody who's different. They want to you know, ride on that great, you know, wave that you created until something happens, and then they're done with you. It's that quick. A lot of it's no type of allegiance, no type of loyalty, no type of nothing. And that is sad that this young lady came out, saw, oh, I'm going to be mainstream or whatever, said this one little thing, and then y'all sitting out there trying to crucify her. You know, I just don't understand, and I think it's silly. That's all I have to say on that situation, that debate. Okay, I think it's silly. That's all I have to say about it. I think it's absolutely silly. All right, you all, I am Michelle Mazelleغ. Thank you all for watching. I will see you all in the next video. Make sure you like and subscribe. Bye.